My experience with the Church Growth Investment Fund has been quite unique. Not really familiar with who you are and what you did, but through this process I have learned a great deal of that you're in a kingdom investment. You all just invest in the kingdom, and I've never been a part of anything like that. I was a corporate guy for 20 years and called out of that into the ministry. And doing the paperwork on a corporate level versus a biblical level was totally different. Meeting your staff, talking to you individuals personally was a great feeling. You were always available, always helpful, and always prayerful. So my experience with you all has basically just been a God-altering blessing. I remember saying, I ran the numbers and I wouldn't loan us a nickel. And I remember what you said very clearly to me. You said that's because you're used to dealing with people who are looking for worldly investments and worldly returns. And we are looking for the kingdom returns and the return on the benefits that brings honor and glory to the Lord. I never heard that before, and I've never experienced that. And that was so comforting. I came to be the pastor 4 years ago, and I remember sitting in front of the senior adults, and they literally told me that they would never live to see the day that they would be worshiping in the sanctuary. Like, that broke my heart. And I remember going to the city hall and getting the plans, because they thought it was going to take just a great deal of money to do all of this. And I knew with the Lord's help we could get, it wouldn't cost as much as they thought it would. I remember just wondering how this was all going to play out. And looking at the numbers from a business standpoint, I asked for a loan for $200,000. And you came and visited the church with one of our deacons and did a walkthrough. And when you left, you said, I think you've sold yourself short. You're not asking for enough. We've done this enough. We know that that you're not asking for $200,000. Son, you're going to need a little bit more than that. And we're going to try to get you $250,000. And I remember scratching my head going, what bank does that? Nobody does that. My own credit card companies don't do that. And you called me on Christmas Eve, and I remember getting ready for church, wondering if this would be the last one. And you called me and said, the loan's been approved, Merry Christmas. And I just broke down and cried. It was one of the greatest services we had in here, and nothing was finished. It's changed our overall outlook on the community. When you looked at the eyes and the hearts of the people 4 years ago, they had literally come to the conclusion that they would never see it. That's depressing. It kind of takes you back to the biblical times. We're never going to see the promised land. We're never going to get to the other side. And that does a lot. I mean, that stops ministry. That stops evangelism. That stops a lot of things dead in its tracks. And the enemy loves that. And when we came into this room, it has changed everything dynamically in our church. There's not a dry eye in the house on Sundays. They're still in awe of everything the Lord has done. They are telling their friends, their families, their neighbors, there's a church on the corner of Ricker and Morris. You need to come check out our new sanctuary. There's just so much hype and enthusiasm in these folks. And to see these senior adults walking on air is the best feeling anybody could ever feel, especially from a pastor's standpoint. They have lived to see it, and they're telling the world about it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done. It's a miracle, and it's only through Christ that those things happen. You invest in the kingdom, and you saw the kingdom being halted right here on the corner of Ricker and Morris. And you saw the potential. I often thought I was crazy. You came out here and looked at it and says, you're not crazy. There is a field out here that's ready to be harvested, and we want to be a part of that. Continue to do that. And I'll tell you this is my first pastorate. And as long as I'm serving the Lord and leading people, we will make sure that we're part of that, to where we can bless other churches and help them experience what we have experienced.